monuments. We erect monuments like the one you see behind me right now. It's how we remember, it's how we honor great people, great moments that happen in our history. It's how we honor and remember how such moments impact the rest of a culture, a society, a country. I, as a Texan, happen to be pretty partial to the one that's behind me now, San Jacinto Monument. It marks the heroism of a group of people that forever changed the course of history. In fact, the implications of the Battle of San Jacinto would actually mean not only the impact it would forever change Texas, it would forever change the landscape of the United States of America. What happened here on this ground was absolutely epic. It marks sacrifice, it marks service, it marks a point in history where there would be no going back after what happened here. Here's a hard truth about monuments, is that everything has a shelf life. Even memories and great people who've come before us have a shelf life. One could even argue, if given enough time, even what is behind me, as amazing as it is, as an impressive of a structure as it is, that if given enough time, maybe even it won't be standing one day. There's a connection point of what was going on that Hebrews chapter 1 wants us to understand about the supremacy of Jesus. Hebrews chapter 1 wants us to understand that Jesus has a reign and has a kingdom that will last forever. It is something that is relevant, ongoing, purposeful, and meaningful, not just as something that occurred 2,000 years ago, not just as we put up a cross and we remember his sacrifice. It's etched in history forever. It's beyond that. It's beyond that of even making visits to the Holy Land. It has implications of the here and now, and even into the future. It's as alive and as present today as it was 2,000 years ago. And Hebrews chapter 1 wants us to understand first and foremost that reality. And this is what is so crazy about Hebrews chapter 1. It paints a picture in which all things were spoken through Jesus, all creation as he carried out the will of the Father. It's Jesus who sits upon the throne, and his enemies are made to be his footstool as he sits above all kingdoms and all nations and all rulers. It's Jesus who is above even the angels, as Hebrews chapter 1 would point out. And yet Jesus at the exact same time would know human beings intimately well. Jesus would atone for our sin, and he would do it not from his footstool up in heaven, but from a cross up on a hill for each and every one of us. Jesus would take on human form and understand personally the depths of the human condition. See, when you and I go over into this monument, the San Jacinto Monument, we have one of two choices. We can go up into the observation deck and we can see things from high above, and suddenly the world becomes really, really small. Many of the issues are hard to even tell. The world can become just a whole series of beautiful colors and landscapes and topography. Suddenly things can even look beautiful that otherwise aren't. Or we can get back down on the ground level and see things up close and personal. But one thing we can't do is see both and have both perspectives at the exact same time. But that's the difference between Jesus. He's above the angels. He's seated on the throne above all things, and yet he knows you, and he knows me, and he knows all creation intimately well. He has both perspectives at the exact same time. He knows you by name. He knows your trials and your struggles. He knows the difficulties that you deal with. He knows your joys and the victories that come along in your life that he's granted you in your life. He walks with you every single step of the way, and yet he's also made it possible for you to have eternal life and have a home with Him, to find rest in Him in heaven for all eternity.